There's the thing to the story, and we are live. That's right. Welcome. Hey, we have a milestone episode today. This is our 10th episode of ComicXWeeb. That's right. I am your co-host, James, aka Comics for Cheap, aka Try to Stuff a Box in Your Box. And I got my co-host with me.
I'm still trying to. It's your boy Chris, aka Black Santa, aka. This is number 10, man. This is amazing.
That's
aka
right.
Super Cold Water.
Water, yes.
And we all know the album coming out 2038.
Oh my god.
Coming, bro.
That was like a 4-year jump this time. So usually it's like a year or two. This one got pumped by 4 years.
I don't know what you're talking about, bro. I just don't know.
Very soon you're gonna be in like year 3000. It's like, all right, album coming out year 3000.
bro, I've been consistent. I've been saying 2038 since like the beginning.
Wait a minute,
bro. That's right in the corner. I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh my god!
Right around the corner.
Well, if it is your first time watching, this is our podcast where we talk about everything pop culture, comics, and anime. Mostly movies, comic books, anime, but everything pop culture. And let's kick it off. I think today that we were talking about starting it off with some comic related stuff. And Chris was actually going to talk a little bit about a new series that just came to an end. Which was the King in Black and or the Venom series that was going on. So spoiler alert, because we are going to be talking about it and going into a little bit of detail, I'm sure, and discussing the ending. So if you haven't read it, mute it or leave and come back in a little while. But if you have read it, we'd love to also hear your thoughts and opinions and join the discussion. But go ahead, Chris, how you want to kick it off?
All right. Yes. Like you said, though, definitely want to hear your thoughts and opinions on whether you like the ending or you hated the ending, or do you agree with me on this part? I think it puts the next person who does write Venom. I don't know if they said who it is. They might have. I don't know. But whoever's going to write Venom next and go into the role, it kind of puts them in a bad spot. So we get to the Captain Universe stuff, bringing Eddie Brock back to life.
Okay.
And he... obviously, what's so funny about this situation is that Noel, who has been relatively dominant, taking everybody pretty much out, he's coming to a couple of situations where he's had a moment, but he's relatively talking everybody out. He gets a beat down. Like, Eddie just beats his ass. And I really didn't see that coming, where it's so one-sided.
Damn.
Like, I thought they would have like a drawn-out fight, like a dog fight. No.
It's Eddie, because I haven't actually been catching up, so I'll ask you some questions here. So it's Eddie with the Venom symbiote beating Noel.
Yes,
in a one-sided fight. Even though, like, I did read the very beginning of Venom where Noel actually came in and Noel whooped some of that ass. He opened a can of whoop ass on Venom in the beginning, and Miles actually had to come in and help him out a little bit. So now we're saying it's like complete opposite. So how do we get to that point where Eddie was able to unleash his own can of whoop ass on the biggest bad that Donny Cates has brought to us?
It's all about the Captain Universe power. That power up just boosted him on a whole nother level. And what's really cool about it is when Eddie gets there, and him and Venom are there, he looks over at Thor, and he looks over. He does something that's help me out if anybody else has ever done this, because I can't remember if anybody's ever done this. But he calls Thor's hammer from Thor and takes it. I've never seen anybody do that. I'm not sure if Eddie ever did. Yes. Eddie does that. He's like, yo, let me borrow that. And he just takes it from Thor. And even Thor is just like, what the fuck? Like, he just takes it from him. Like, yeah, I'll take this. And I'm just like, whoa, wait a minute. huh?
Wow.
And then he says, yo, I'm gonna up this and do something else. No, I don't think anybody else done. Yo, Silver, let me borrow your. No, matter of fact, let me just take your surfboard. What? He just takes Silver Surfer's surfboard / sword, and he takes that, and then he combined the two to make like this battle axe. He combined Silver Surfer's surfboard / sword, Thor's hammer into one, and makes a damn battle axe.
Wow, that's awesome. I mean, like, okay, so it's awesome in theory, right?
Yes.
Just hearing saying you say that is awesome, but I am a little concerned.
Okay.
How the hell is Eddie worthy of the power of Thor? What qualifies him as worthy of wielding Mjolnir?
Well, unfortunately, so there was a story.
Are we going to say the Captain Universe thing again? Like, is it just
no?
he's got all his power?
I'm not even going to use that one. There was a story right before Thor shows up and starts fighting against Null, where he sends like a bunch of hammers down to Earth, or basically his hammer, really not a bunch, but his hammer down to Earth, and like random people were able to pick it up, and he was like testing the theory to see how it would work. So they kind of threw that out the window somewhat, where like I'm not saying they completely said, oh, you don't have to be worthy, but it seemed that they changed some things, or that I'm not for sure. Maybe.
Do you think that was was it explained? I don't know if you read the where Donny Cates took over for Thor for a little while. He introduced Black Winter and some other characters. Was it maybe explained in that series?
I can't say for sure. All I know is it was basically him just testing some things out, and like a regular dude picked it up and like flew around for a little while, and then Thor was like, all right, that's enough. And then he took it back from him, but he let the man have some fun.
All right, calm down.
It also let Iron Man kind of getting owned by Thor again, because Thor's just like, dude, you know, if I fight you right now, I'm going to beat your ass. And he's like, yeah. But Iron Man has some fun back, making some jokes and making Thor like an idiot too. But the point is, like, maybe it's one of those things where it's like, maybe Eddie is worthy of the hammer because of everything Eddie has been through and has what led to this moment. Maybe Eddie does have, like, because what would you say that would make Eddie not worthy, considering everything he's done right now that's led to this moment?
I mean, he started out as a villain, even though he's come over as more of an anti-villain. Just his whole everything about, even without the symbiote, he was not the most moral person in the world. And so the symbiote exemplified that a little bit. And he has, I don't know. I mean, how could he be worthy, I guess? And because what I think of is like, is the person who could wield his hammer, Captain America. When he picked it up, I was not surprised. He is like almost like the essence of pure good. And so,
but you don't have to be good to be worthy.
Okay, well that's it. Yeah, that's true.
Then it can also go to the same thing of like, if
so, what you just just the fact
that a robot picks up the hammer, they don't necessarily are good or evil. It's the criteria of whether or not the hammer values you as being worthy, or whether it doesn't matter or not.
Because Vision
but you don't have to be necessarily good. I don't think the rule books for the hammer necessarily says
so. Is
you
it
have to be completely good of, like, pure apart?
Is it more like a lantern ring where you just have like the strongest will or the strongest amount of whatever? Well, okay, so if we were looking at something like that, then yeah, I mean Eddie, he definitely has been through the ringer, and he has
saved the world in the past. Well, he's saved a lot of people in the past. And has done many good deeds since his time as being evil. Because it's been a good amount of time since he's really been like, I'm here to kill Spider-Man at any cost, and basically eat this dude's ass. Like, he's not that kind of character anymore. So
that's true.
I mean, he's changed a lot, and I mean, he's done good. So again, I just think the fact that he was able to not only lift it, obviously, but take the thing from Thor, where Thor is still having it in his hand, he's still using it, and then does the same thing to the Silver Surfer, is like, whoa, that's something. So of course he
that's
combines
pretty
it.
crazy.
Yes. And what's so funny about it, even the other heroes are like, wait a minute, what? Like he flies through, and then Scott is looking at this Cyclops, and he's just like, guys, did I just see Eddie Brock fly by with Thor's hammer, Silver Surfer surfboard, and combined it into an axe?
It'd be funny if he swung back around and like snatched the thing off his face. He's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna need this too."
Not only he takes the optic blast out of Cyclops' eyes and everything. He's like, "Yeah, until I'm finished, you could just see normally, have fun." And it's like, oh, wait.
He's just going around taking everybody's like powers and stuff. Oh my gosh, that would be so funny.
That would have been hilarious.
Swings by Spider-Man, takes his web cartridges, goes back out.
He's like, you don't need this right now.
Yeah,
like, wait, dude, you can fly. What do you need this for? Don't worry about it.
Yeah, no, forget about it. He's like, you can shoot your own webs. No, yeah, let me take that.
Don't worry about it. You can't be exempt. So he does that, and with all that firepower plus the boost, that's what basically leads to him just beating the crap out of Null.
Okay.
And I'm just sitting here like, because honestly, I thought it would be a dog fight, because when Null fought against the Captain Universe power up the light version in the past, it was basically a draw, which you can make the argument somewhat that Null kind of won, but it was more or less a draw. This was not that at all. It was just a one-sided beatdown, and then he just eventually takes him out. And then after he finishes the job, he's sitting there, and then like Venom is like, I don't know if you. Well, he basically throws him into the. Before we get to that, he basically throws my man into the sun. Okay. So what's funny about it? It kind of reminds me of what Goku did to Cooler in one of the Dragon Ball Z movies, where he shoots my man right into the sun. That was a really cool moment. So when I saw that, it instantly made me think of that. But
gotcha.
He just goes into space. He throws my man to the sun, and Noah, while he's burning and going into the sun, he's just like, "Yo, if you think this is gonna be the end of me, you're wrong. Because even if this somehow takes me out, even if you was able to kill me right here and now, there's still somebody else. I still live." And he's basically talking about Eddie's son. He's like, that part of me is inside of him. And there's really not nothing you can do about that. So no matter what happens here, I will come back. I will win.
Yeah.
Well, Eddie's like, yeah, okay. While you're burning, I'll be back. And he goes down. And to be fair, I don't think he really goes back. But he knows is in the sun. He goes back and he goes to his son. Now, his son is freaking out at this point because he feels what Knowles feels. Not necessarily completely like he's burning completely, but he feels the pain that Knowles is feeling. So he's freaking out, and Eddie's like, I know this sucks. I know you're in pain. I know this is bad, but you're tough, and you're going to get through this. And I'm about to do something that's going to cause you more pain, but I believe that you can handle it. He reaches inside his son's heart and rips out, at least seemingly, he rips out the part of Nolan inside of him.
Oh my gosh.
And it's painful, and his son is screaming, but he does it, and then he basically gets rid of it. It's seemingly, at least. He seemingly disintegrates it, basically. Now, Venom is sitting there, and he's like, I don't know if you understand what you just done. And he's like, well, I saved the world, blah, blah. He's like, no, it's more than that. And then he starts hearing a bunch of other symbiote talking in their language. And he's like, I'm not fully understanding. I'm like, I don't know exactly what's going on, but it's like I'm starting to. And he's like, yeah, well, the situation is you just took out the king. So you freed all these symbiotes.
Is he the new king?
He's like, they're free to do what they want. And what they want to do now, you're the new king of black. Like, you're the new guy. You're the new head of the table. And then that's how it ends. And I'm sitting there like, damn, I really think that puts the next person in a bad spot.
Next person to write.
Yeah, the next person to write. Excuse me. Yes. The next person to write in a bad spot. Before I go on further, what do you think?
So I think that regardless really, unless Eddie had ended not Eddie, unless Donny Cates had ended it like so terribly, which we knew wasn't going to happen, right? And although people might not enjoy the ending, and I haven't heard anyone say that it was like, oh, this is the shittiest ending that I've ever read or anything like that. So unless that had happened, I think anyone taking up the mantle of writing Venom was going to have a hard time following up Donny Cates, because whether you enjoy his writing or not, he's pretty much like the rock star of Marvel right now. He is killing it with everything he touches ever since he started on Thanos. With Thanos Wins, he's just been like creating characters that people have been loving. He's like rewriting Marvel history. It's almost like he's a very good writer. So I think that the fact that he made an in canon Venom series that is as good as this one was, for the first time, I think, since Lethal Protector, which was only like a 6-issue series, then anyone following that up is going to have a hard time penning anything. Or like, even if Donny Cates set it up like, here's what's coming, or you have like a broad idea but still leave it up for interpretation for the next writer, it's still like a daunting task to have to fill those shoes and now come up with new characters or a new threat or a new storyline, or how are we going to progress from here, type of thing. Because I mean, he killed it on this run.
He did. And I do want to make sure I clarify one thing too. Thor and Silver Surfer did get their respective weapons back. He broke it apart and gave it back to them and was like, "Here you go. I finished."
Well, that's good. That's also interesting because I mean, Cates wrote for Silver Surfer with Silver Surfer Black, and Cates wrote Thor during this time. So I had a feeling that he was going to eventually just bring them all in together. But it's funny that he did it in that way, where he took the hammer and the surfboard and kind of combined it together.
I just couldn't believe that, because I'm really sure no one has ever done that, where they took it from those guys while they still had it in their possession.
Snatched it.
Just like, I'm just gonna not even really act, just like, I'm just gonna take this real quick. Like, that's right. Like, okay. But no, like, I think it puts them in also in a bad spot. Everything you said is 100% on, but it's just like, damn, what do I do now? Because you got Venom at this level, and now I think Venom is pretty much going to lose the Captain Universe power if he didn't lose it basically at the end. So he's not going to.
I was going to say Venom is super overpowered.
Right. Like, I don't think he's going to permanently keep that, but he's still super powered now. Like, he's still powered up to a degree. Plus, having that army bomb by his side, at least the way it's hinted at by them saying, "You're now the King in Black. Like, you're now the guy." Right. He has like his own little symbiote army now. So it's like,
do you think the army or the other symbiotes are going to rise up against them, or do you think that like they're going to be happy to be free of Null, or I mean, or more like, oh, because you killed the king, maybe we can kill the king, kind of thing?
That could eventually happen, but the way it ended was like them bowing down to their new king. Like, you are now.
Oh, okay.
That's how it ended. Where it's like, you're now the guy. You know, you're the head. You're basically, you're Roman Reigns. You're the head of the table now. You're the tribal chief.
El numero uno.
Numero
honcho.
Believe that. So it's like, damn, what do you do next with him?
Yeah.
Do you go down that route? I mean, there's still the Carnage stuff happening, and we was talking a little bit before we got on. We was talking about Agent Venom, where he was.
Rob says that Eddie will be a benevolent king for sure.
I'm sure he would be, because it is Eddie Brock, isn't it? We cannot see him doing something really foolish. This, it could also lead to something with his son. But before I get that, I'm going to get off subject. Thought process. When it comes to Agent Venom, we were talking about earlier. Flash Thompson was dead when Eddie was killed, and he had to go into basically his mind was transferred into Null and all this other crap. he ended up finding Flash Thompson, and that basically led to Flash getting set free. He was turned into like a symbiote dragon. He was set free. And then while Venom was going on to take out Null, he told Flash, hey, do you know what really went down with Carnage? And Flash was like, nah, dude, I was dead for all that. And he was like, you should go find out. So Flash goes on to find Carnage and everything. And it basically it ended with them saying that he's coming back, that Flash Thompson is basically back alive.
JBKS Dad says Eddie might appoint Flash Thompson as the king somehow so that Eddie can stay on Earth and focus on raising his son, ?
They could do that.
So then we would have, but then what would do you think Eddie would just pass the symbiote to Flash? Now how would the symbiote feel about that?
Yeah, I was gonna wonder that too. Like, would they just completely be like, "Oh, okay, sure, why not?"
Because Eddie is the best
Flash
match
didn't get
for
the job
Venom.
done.
Right.
Like Flash wasn't the one who killed or took him out or whatever the case may be. Because it's comics, so he might be dead now, but I'm pretty sure Noel will be back. Hell, he might survive his little sunny vacation.
I think that Noel will return. I mean, I don't know because Kate's spent all this time building this character and he loves him. Someone's gonna bring him back. You're exactly right. Nobody stays dead in comics at all. So I think that he'll come back eventually. I know that Kate says he's absolutely done writing Venom, so he's on to whatever. I think he mentioned or expressed interest in writing Guardians of the Galaxy again or Silver Surfer again. So we'll see what becomes of that. But I think that in the future, I just don't think we've seen the end of Null. I think that Dylan will still be a strong character.
See, and that's something I'm wondering too, because now it makes you wonder: will one of the symbiotes?
Says Eddie and his symbiote are connected in a whole new way now. And either way, yeah, Rob, we were just saying that either way, the next writer has to follow a tough act. Yep.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And like with his kid, it gets into an interesting situation because it's like I can see them going down a route maybe where Noel left a piece of himself that's hiding among one of the symbiotes. That symbiote uses what he can and eventually takes over Dylan and basically makes him Noel 2.0 the way he needs him to be. His original, somewhat of his plan beforehand was, so he takes his body and that ends up leading to him trying to get his army back. I think there's going to be some type of conflict that Eddie's going to have to battle his son.
That would be pretty cool. I think a lot of people were kind of expecting that in this series, not necessarily King of Black, but like in the Venom series, because from a speculative point of view, first appearance of Dylan in Venom 7 or 9 or both or whatever, that was a crazy book at one point. Like it shot way up because everyone was thinking, oh, it's Dylan's going to be a huge part of the story. Dylan and Eddie are going to fight each other or whatever. And I'm just sitting here laughing like, that just means someone's going to die. And then it's not going to be a good speculation because if someone dies, that book's going to fall. But
to be fair, someone did die. Eddie did fight the people.
And I just think that everyone was expecting that Dylan versus Eddie. So I think that could be something maybe the new writer could pursue, like that be like the ultimate kind of goal of his story arc of an Eddie versus Dylan showdown.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. And that could be very, very fun to see.
Yeah.
Or at least to see what route they go down if they do that. Because I can see Noel doing something like that. Or if they do try to go down to give it to Flash, it would be like, would the symbiotes respect that? Because they respected Eddie for getting the job done and forcing his way to being a new king. Similar to how, like in Bleach, where Kenpachi became the new captain of his division, he killed the previous captain and was like, yeah, all right, now this is my division now. And they're just like,
look at me.
Welcome, Captain Rocky. Happy to have you here. So like it's one of those things. Like they wouldn't have just respected it completely if he would have just like done nothing really and was just given to him. And that's somewhat what Flash kind of did. Like he did come out there as a dragon form, kick little ass here and there, but he didn't really do anything. So it's like if he didn't do anything, like why should we respect him?
Right.
Like what makes you any different than the rest of us? So
speaking of Flash, so I've never been the biggest fan of Agent Venom, but however, I will say that I've never read too much into the character. Could you perhaps steer me into some decent Agent Venom storylines that I should read or look into, or like just kind of maybe like around certain times or certain arcs?
You said you tried the first, like basically the first.
Honestly, I don't remember which ones I read. I know I read a couple where Flash Thompson was Venom, and I was sitting there when I was reading them, and I was just like, I don't know how to feel about it. But I honestly I can't remember which ones they were. So I would just need to go in fresh and read some.
Because I know basically the best part of Agent Venom was all his space adventures. So I would say basically go into when he truly becomes Agent Venom and not really the stuff when he was just normal Venom on Earth dealing with Peter. I would definitely say go into a lot more of his space adventure stuff with like the Guardian of the Galaxy and stuff with that kind of stuff was where he to me really got his following. And the Agent Venom thing was what it really was. Because honestly, I wasn't the biggest fan of Flash Thompson.
Okay. This guy says Agent Venom is dope, and a lot of people agree that Agent Venom is dope. I'm just, I was always like, I don't get the hype.
It was basically when he became Agent Venom and he was doing stuff.
JBKS Dad says, don't read Minimum Carnage.
So it's basically, like I said, the stuff when he's in space.
Speaking of Carnage.
Yes.
Maybe that's a direction that the writer will go down to kind of follow in line. If they launch a new Venom series or continue Venom or whatever they're going to do, I would assume that they're going to try to incorporate Carnage again to fall in line with the movie eventually coming out in October, because that's kind of what they did when they did the was Absolute Carnage, right? That they released
coming out in October.
Yeah, so now it's supposed to come out, I think, late September or October. So of course, before when it was supposed to come out, last year they're doing Absolute Carnage. They had Carnage hyping up. So I think that's probably what they're going to try to do again with the comics, is hype up Carnage again. If they launch another Venom thing, or whoever takes over, I don't know if they've announced a new writer or if they're going to continue or start fresh again with another Venom #1 or what they're going to do.
I'm sure they're going to keep Venom going. I just don't know if they actually announced the new writer, but I'm very sure they said they was going to keep Venom going. They're just going with a new person, but I'm not for sure if they announced them.
Around the time of Superior Spider-Man was Minimum Carnage crossover stuff, I think. Now, Superior Spider-Man I enjoyed. Superior Spider-Man with Dr. Octopus as Spider-Man. I enjoyed that. I don't remember the Minimum Carnage tie-in stuff, but I do remember enjoying and thinking that that Doc Ock made a pretty freaking good Spider-Man. To be honest with you, he made a pretty decent Spider-Man. Like, he improved on a lot of things and brought a different point of view to Spider-Man than Peter could or was willing to do.
I'm always a bigger fan of heroes who are not so like, oh, I can't kill this guy because it's not right. It's so wrong. Even though this man has killed, like, this dude would kill you and anybody else with no hesitation, but you're just like, oh, I'm going to show that I'm better than him or her by not killing them. And I'm just like, no, that just shows that you're dumber than them. You should take them out if you have to. Like,
Speaking of that, now we're really going to start tangent. I started watching the Titan show on HBO. The live action Titan show, like that.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen any of it, but extremely decent. Like, I don't know how more people are not talking about the Titan show, I know there was a little hype when it came out at first, the whole like "fuck Batman" trailer or whatever that came out, because even you and I were like talking and joking about that when it came out. But like solid show, man. Like actually makes me want to watch the next episode. Like I'm excited to continue the story. But there is a part in there where they do like a alternate universe type thing where Batman kills the Joker, of course. But that's just like I never understood why, like you said, why heroes are just like, oh well, that just makes us just like them if we allow them to continue to live. But Batman like completely snaps in this I don't know if it's like a vision / alternate timeline type thing, almost close to the nightmare stuff. But Batman is basically like, no, I've had enough of all of this garbage, and just kills the Joker, and then kills like half of the Gotham police force, and just fucking kills everybody. And I thought that was super dope.
This series, spoiler alert for
yeah. I mean, it was like a one episode. Like I said, it was like an alternate reality one episode type of things. But yeah, a little bit of spoilers. But
so yeah, I want to ask. So what led to him doing this though?
I think it was Raven's dad that came back to Earth and then started messing. Yeah, thank you. I knew it was with a T, but I couldn't remember. And then started messing with the Titans, and to get inside of Dick's head, that's what he presented to him, basically, that Dick and Dove were married, had a nice, beautiful little family out in San Francisco, but all of a sudden he needs to go back to Gotham to deal with Bruce, because Bruce is snapping and whatever, and he's the only one that can get through to him. And then Dick shows up and tries to help. Batman is like, nah, and fucking kills Joker and like everyone on the police force. And then Dick comes up and kills Batman, is basically how, like, and because he made that choice, he made the choice to be evil. So Trigon kind of controls him now.
That's interesting. Because no offense. Okay, so before I say that, because I was gonna say straight up, Dick can't beat Bruce in a fight.
He planted explosives around the cave and collapsed the cave down on Bruce. Okay. And while Bruce was pinned by something, he just came up and fucking stepped on his throat until he died. So yeah, no, straight up, Batman destroyed the entire elite SWAT team that they sent in. There was not even a hint of a chance. But because and Dick was also like, oh, you ruined my whole life. He was doing his little poor woe is me orphan boy thing. So you ruined my whole life. I never should have met you. Blah blah blah. And then he kills Batman. Yeah. So whatever. But then of course that ends up not being the real reality. It was just that was the choice he made in that moment. But I guess the point of it was to show that is a little bit inside of Dick's head, because that's how he played out that scenario when Trigon presented it to him. So that that is a little bit still in his head, I guess. So that part was canon, but the rest of the scenario was not.
Yeah, that's definitely very interesting that they would go down a route like that.
JBKS Dad says, why does every alternate reality where Batman kills Joker end up being a terrible future for all mankind just once? Can't we see that killing the Joker leads to a cure for cancer in paradise?
Because the writers have to, and if you really look at how those scenarios turn out, it's always something that is a little questionable if that would actually happen, because they got to work so hard to make it always seem so terrible that this is what would happen if the Joker died. Where, let's be honest, if Bruce actually flat out killed the Joker, it wouldn't turn out that bad.
I don't think that's what is bad, right? It's the fact that every time
the Joker lived and he does nothing for a story. Like Joker does something, he goes away for a period of time and he's doing absolutely nothing. Well, the same pace is going, the same stuff is happening. So if you kill Joker and take him out, well, just nothing's going to happen with him. So you have to make up these crazy, and I mean crazy, scenarios where things go go down this apocalyptic path. Not path, but apocalyptic.
Is it the absence of the Joker, or is it the fact that Batman has crossed the line and is really like, since he's so above whatever, like he's above the police, he's above the law almost. Well, at least in his own mind, he's definitely above the law, right? And maybe that's not how it actually is, but in Bruce's mind, he is the law.
Yeah,
he is justice.
Yeah.
And so if he were to cross that line, then I think that was kind of what was presented, that like, okay, well, now he doesn't have a line, so now he's just going to kill anybody that he wants to, kind of thing, because he can.
The problem is it's like they always try to do it no matter who kills the Joker, that these crazy
okay.
Because again, look at Injustice. Batman does not kill the Joker. He tries to, Superman's the one that do it. And then all of a sudden, all this crazy stuff goes down, and then the entire, basically all of DC is changed because Superman did this. Now, to be fair, it was like Joker was the catalyst behind it to a huge degree, but it wasn't necessarily Joker dying what led to it. Was Lois' death, and Superman just snapped. But they always try to make it seem like if Joker's dead, some catastrophic thing happens, where in reality, like, honest to God, I don't think that would actually happen. If it was a legit story and Joker was actually put down, I don't think it would go down that route, because I don't see a reason why that would happen.
Right. Yeah,
like,
I don't get it either. I get that you need it for writing or telling stories or whatever. You want to make it seem like everything's, he is the most important villain that Batman has. Even like as recent as Batman Who Laughs type stuff, where Joker dies, but then he like releases the toxin while he dies and turns Batman into the Batman Who Laughs kind of thing. That was interesting as well. So it's never that the Joker just dies. It's always like, it is always something. Like, it's always Joker dies, and now that's chaos. Like, even more chaos than when the Joker was trying to start chaos.
Yes.
Somehow he's more successful dying.
Right, exactly. So much worse than when he was actually trying to do his crazy stuff.
We need a storyline where he just goes into a bank and shoots himself in the head, and then like everyone's like, well, that was weird, and then it continues throughout their day, right? But then like the next issue, like everything's fucking wild.
Like it's nothing ever. I just keep it going. Just going. but no,
all right.
You can prove it, dude. Like, to even prove why I'm so confident that it would go down the route of really a positive thing, or at least to a huge degree. Look at Batman Beyond, where Joker dies way before Terry's even born. Joker dies when in the Batman, well, spoilers for Batman Beyond, the animated series. In one of the movies,
it's a 30-year spoiler alert.
Bro, the way we're in, the culture we're in now, you have to say spoilers for something that happened 100 years ago. I could be telling the history of the Boston Tea Party, and I need to say spoiler alert.
It's so funny. You're like in school, in history class, and your history professor like, all right, spoiler alert. Okay, the North won the Civil War.
Exactly.
Like, oh, my bad. I didn't mean to spoil that for you,
bro. One kid
like,
gets
you spoiled the whole textbook for me.
What the hell?
It's gonna read that chapter later.
Exactly. But no. The situation happens where
go ahead.
Joker basically brainwashes. It wasn't Dick, because Dick was way past that. It was it Tim? I think it was Tim Drake.
Okay.
I think it was Tim. He brainwashes Tim as one of the Robins, but I really believe it was Tim. He brainwashes Tim, and then he puts him in a situation where this dude is basically under the Joker's gas, with, of course, Harley's help.
Naturally.
I don't hate Harley. All of that. And they, like, Batman and Batgirl goes to get him and save the situation, and everything's popping off, and he gets in a situation where now this brainwashed Tim has to make a choice to shoot Batman or to shoot Joker, to pretty much do something. And he's like starting to break free of it, but he's still under the mind wash, and he freaks out. But he eventually shoots and kills Joker, and even Joker gets shot. He's like, wow, I didn't. He basically makes a joke about it, but he's like, I didn't see that coming. That's not really funny. And then he dies. Okay. Well, guess what? stuff just continues to happen where nothing happens with the Joker. And so they need that to happen during the movie part. And like many, many years later, after Terry has become Batman Beyond, you know, Bruce is already retired. So all Bruce goes through the rest of his hero career without the whole catastrophic thing going down his route. Nothing happens. It's as if it wouldn't, like, honestly, a lot of better things happen. The worst thing that happened was that some clowns dressed up as the Joker and wanted to, like, continue his legacy. Yeah. But they didn't really do anything. It was more street punks. It was a bunch of street punks who wanted to, like, we're representing the Joker, but they didn't really do anything. They just, you know, stole your granny's purse, vandalized your car. They didn't truly know how crazy the Joker was. They just they just saw him as somewhat of a role model. So, but they didn't know how to be Joker. They didn't know how to do any of that. Even Harley quit being fucking Harley after that happened. She just became like just basically a regular person. And then her grandchildren or whatever, they have like a scene where her grandchildren dress up as two Harleys or whatever, and they start causing some havoc, and they team up with the Joker that eventually comes back. Thanks a lot. I'm not gonna go into the full thing, but either way, it's just a funny scene where she shows up and breaks them out of jail, and she's like pissed off and hitting them and everything. Like, how they shouldn't be doing stupid things like that. But the point is, what I'm trying to say is that you can go on with Joker being dead, and a catastrophic thing that ends the whole world doesn't happen.
Right.
They just,
you know what I would like to see? A real life supervillain like Joker. I would love that. That would be fantastic. I just need that out. I need that out in the world.
I'm sorry, bro. I don't know about a Joker walking around here just killing people.
Man.
All of it. The whoever is Batman in our scenario.
I guess we need a Batman first, right? We need a Batman first, and then we need Joker to come in.
Who's the Batman, dude?
I don't know. Bernie Sanders.
What that comes to your mind?
A super old Jew is gonna be Batman. All right, and then who's gonna be Joker? Donald Trump, baby. That's it.
What?
No, but yeah, I think I would be amused because you know there are obviously like real life supervillains that aren't amusing. Like that. If you remember the Coney guy who led like the child army in Africa, that dude was wild. It definitely could be classified as a freaking supervillain. Just I feel like he had some crazy, like that whole story was nuts. But yeah, I mean, other than that, we haven't. Like, there are a few, but you know, there aren't too many. Like, oh man, for as much as we glamorize supervillains, there aren't too many people that are that crazy out there that would actually mastermind some crazy evil plots. And
I mean, like considering the evil plot that you thought of years back, I mean, if you was ever with that, you know, we would have a supervillain just like that. But anywho,
the evil plots.
evil indeed. That's why they are cool. Evil James, 100%. Yeah, I mean, I feel you. But again, okay. So the Bernie Sanders and Donald Trump thing would be amusing because eventually they're just going to kill over and die from a heart attack. So that would be kind of funny and sad at the same time because on. Do you really want to see two old guys like that fight each other? I mean, it's not
absolutely. Well, if I wanted that, I'd just turn on WrestleMania.
Whoa! Wait a minute now. Hold on now, because now you disrespected the tribal chief, Roman Reigns. All right, who retained
I was saying
at WrestleMania.
Because there were, I know that just happened this weekend. I know there a lot of people were watching and stuff, and not everyone was thrilled with it, but. I will say, as for anyone who's like, fuck wrestling, blah, 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 that you try jumping as high as you can and then just landing flat on your back. And you let me know how you feel after that, if you can get up and continue doing whatever you were doing for the next hour or so without having to pop some Advil. But like, it's honestly some of those stunts that they perform and everything are some like wild, crazy stuff that I don't know how they can walk around the next day because I will give it to them. Like, it's insane some of the stuff that they pull off. Whether or
So,
not I don't really follow the storylines or like
yeah.
who is who, but just watching the stunt work itself. Like again, like if I were to jump as high as I can and land on my mattress, I'd be like, oh, that
That's
didn't feel
tough.
great. But they're
Yes.
just landing flat on their back on the wrestling mat, and I'm like, oh, yeah, I feel that from over here.
That's the thing that people don't understand, and when I'm talking to them, I don't like wrestling is not fake; it's choreographed, but
Right.
it's not fake. The bumps
Right.
they take are real. The stuff that they have to go through in that ring is real. A perfect example: look at the stuff that Mick Foley, Mankind, Cactus Jack, Doolove, whatever you know him as. The stuff that he had. He lost his ear in the ring, continued to wrestle. Ear completely was ripped off, kept going, lost teeth in the ring, shattered his entire mouth, continued to wrestle. Thumbtacks put through his back, body, leg, everywhere on his body, continued to wrestle. Fell like fucking 10, 15 feet from a steel cage, hit the ground, and went through the ring. Wasn't supposed to happen that way. He kept going. Vader, one time in a match, his eye literally, you can Google it and look at the video. His eye popped out of his socket. And you know what he did? He popped it back in place and kept wrestling.
That's
why I'm like, you guys sit there saying wrestling's fake and wrestling's this and that. Dude, those dudes are tougher than most of you guys who say that. Because seriously,
100% they're tough guys. Yeah.
Your eye out of place, you're not going to keep going.
I'd be like, can I get a timeout? Can I get a timeout?
Yeah, exactly. He didn't even do that. He literally just popped it back in and kept going like it was nothing. Like it was it was his real eye. It popped right out of his fucking socket and it's sticking out. And he just keep back in. It's cool. Let's keep
just
going.
Like the when Negan hit Gwen in The Walking Dead with that baseball bat, it popped his eye out of the socket. And it was just dangling.
Right.
Dangling. He didn't pop it back in though. That motherfucker died.
Yeah, I don't know if you can pop that back in that way.
That motherfucker died. But yeah, no. So I was watching some of those stunts. I was just like, oh my gosh, that's some wild stuff going on there. But maybe one of them could be the superhero. They could take some lumps, or a super villain.
They're in great shape. I mean, hey, the Rock could go out there and become a superhero, super villain, and I would believe it.
Bro, if the Rock became a super villain, we would be in trouble. Well, I think we would actually be in some trouble then. Because everyone loves the Rock, so it'd be I'm kind of on the Rock's side here.
It's not his physical ability or even how smart he is. It's the fact that he can manipulate so many of us. That's right. How much we love the Rock. Like I would literally be like, yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah,
I'm on your side, Rock.
I don't know why you're acting so crazy right now, but I love the Rock, so I can't root against the Rock. Come on.
Exactly. Like, I'm sorry, man. We gotta take care of this. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So I want to switch on something real quick before I forget.
Okay, go ahead.
I want to talk about the Tiger Woods situation.
Okay. All right. That's a sequitur right there.
So Tiger, we all know he had that horrible accident, and seriously, God bless him for being alive and surviving that. It was terrible. But my issue is how it was handled by the police. So the police at first, and what's funny about it, I believe that the guy who was in charge of this case, basically, or whatever he was the same guy who had some shady dealings in the Kobe Bryant situation, where he did some stuff that was wrong and tried to exploit Kobe and everything. So it seemed that this is the same guy from what I was hearing from one of the stories that was being told. But anyway. He's sitting there and he's like, oh, we're going to get the black box that's in the car to get this information. And he initially said, I'm going to give the information to the people too. Like normal cases go in that type of situation. Because Tiger not only put himself in harm, he put everybody else in harm. And you find out a lot more about it when you find out how bad it really was.
Okay.
But when things popped off and he got it, out of nowhere, he was like, yeah, we're not going to be able to release this unless Tiger says it's okay. So, it was, what? No, that's not how that normally happens. Because you end up really finding out, not only did Tiger he was speeding, he was going like 95. When he went across two traffics and this is a lot of traffic. Cars are going by. He goes across, never once hit his brake. So he just went completely straight ahead, went through 2 lanes, and then finally crashed into a tree or whatever he crashed into.
Wow.
He finally, or whatever he crashed. He finally crashed into.
Was he under any kind of influence? Did they find that out?
That's the thing. Everybody was wondering because the last couple of times this happened to Tiger, he was either drugged up or under alcohol. Like he was a little messed up. He wasn't normal. So they basically chalked it up as a speeding accident. And it was like, no, there got to be more to this.
Yeah, Alexis said something about something where it said that he meant to hit the brake and ended up hitting the gas instead. I was like, who hits the gas instead of the brake? Like, but who hits the gas so hard that they're going, like you said, 70 to 90 or whatever miles an hour? Like, at some point, you're like, oh, maybe I'm not hitting the brake.
What makes it so worse, when they finally was forced to release a little more information, it was confirmed that he never once hit the gas. Like, he never got off the gas. He never tried to hit the brakes. He was completely on the gas the entire time. So some people believe deep down that he fell asleep, or he was just on too much painkillers, or whatever he was on. Because I know he just had his back surgery, so he had his drugs or whatever there. So it's a possibility he was too doped up on that, or he was under the influence. We're not still fully for sure because he made sure they didn't release, to me, everything, and to a lot of people, everything. But they felt, for some weird reason, they done everything in their power to hide a lot of information and what went down. And I feel that's a huge double standard. Where if it was a regular person who did that same exact crime,
right,
he would know everything that went down, and that person would not be completely free to do whatever they want. Now, don't get me wrong, Tiger, if I'm not right, I think he broke both his legs. So, you know, his career could completely be over now. I mean, I don't even know if he want to even golf anymore. I don't really know. But he was already battling injuries to begin with, and now he's in an even worse spot. But I'm saying, like, he didn't just put himself in harm. He went across basically 2 lanes.
Yeah, he put a lot of people at risk.
Traffic.
Yeah.
In LA. You know LA traffic. So there's people doing stuff.
Right, yeah.
And it's like, come on, man. Like, nah, like that's double standard to me, man.
And like in this day and age, even if, let's just say, like, even if he was fucked up on whatever it could have been, pain pills, alcohol, mixture of the two, you know, whatever it is, like, with the amount of money that he has and the technology in today's day and age, there is no excuse to not call an Uber. It's like, what is it going to cost him? $30? What is that to a man who has millions of dollars? You know what I mean? Like a $30 car ride. Oh no, I have to go pick up my car tomorrow when I'm a little more sober. Like, come on, man. Like, it's not worth risking not only your life, but like you said, everyone who happened to be out going about their own business that day, not expecting someone flying by them at 90 miles an hour in the opposite direction or going across them or whatever. So that's just messed up. And I really don't have any respect for people who choose to do stuff like that, because it's just, it's needless. It's stupid. Like, don't text and drive, don't drink and drive. There's too many options out there for you at this point.
It is. It really is. And that's the part that really disturbed me, because it's just like everything you said. There was so many options he could have took. I know a couple of reports said he was trying to get to a event that was happening with some other celebrities. Whatever.
Yeah, it's not the end of the world, man.
Had to, unfortunately, no show or get there super late because you had to get somebody else to drive you or whatever the case may be. That's better than what actually went down.
Right.
Because thank God, not only did he live, that he didn't hurt anybody, that no one else was caught in this situation. He would have.
Exactly.
He was going, he probably would have died. Either him or the other person probably would have died. We would have had a much bigger and worse situation that actually went down.
Right.
And it's like, dude, like, come on. And the fact that this ain't Tiger's first time getting in accidents like this, and the other time he was under some type of influence, I have no choice but to believe it's the same situation here. Because this one sounds like this dude was on something.
Right. Yeah. It seems like that is the assumption that's going to be made, is that, you know, that was the case. That was the first thing when it happened, when you and I talked about it. It was kind of our first, like, I hate to say it, but it sounds like he might have been messed up a little bit. Yeah, when that went down, because nobody just goes that fast and runs off the road and hits a tree, you know, without something going on. So yeah, it's unfortunate, but you know, like you said, I'm glad he's okay, but I do hope that, you know, if he was breaking the law, that some justice comes. Bernie Sanders swoops down.
Oh my God! Seriously, now, God dang it! Now I kind of want Bernie Sanders Batman. Someone needs to do that now. I want Bernie Sanders Batman, and I want Donald Trump Joker to be a thing now. Like we need somebody to draw. I'll pay somebody to draw that now. That is hilarious.
I'm once again asking you for your justice.
You know, someone needs to get in touch with Bernie Sanders or like someone close to him, and they need to convince him to dress up as Batman for Halloween.
Oh my God!
They need to be so amazing. Or you know, just dress him as a Batman now. Just put him in a Batman suit.
That's right. Yeah, just put him in Batman suit. Let's do a quick photo shoot, and then we'll be good.
He'll be good. Just tell him it'll make a lot of people happy.
Yes,
he'll look like a hero to a lot of people.
That's right.
Make me happy.
Oh man, that's funny. All right, so let's talk about. Have you seen the latest Falcon and Winter Soldier episode?
I unfortunately have not. It's been a crazy week. No.
It's crazy. You gotta watch it. It's so insane. You just need to view it. Basically, kind of what we had discussed that we thought was going to pan out. It looks like that's what's panning out. So definitely give it a watch. Spoiler alert to everyone out there if you haven't seen that episode.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, it's crazy, but it's really good, man.
So hit me with something. What happens that's super crazy?
What happens?
Yeah.
Do you want me to go into any kind of
spoiler?
spoiler?
Watch it either way, so it doesn't matter.
You're watching it? Okay, all right.
We're fine.
So, like we were talking about that John Walker, who we didn't think was necessarily evil, right? So we don't think he's evil, but we thought that he was gonna go off the wall with that anger that he had, and act out of line, because he's not Cap. He's not the purity that Steve was, or I guess he is Cap, but no, you know, he's not Steve.
He don't have the experience. Captain has so many years of experience to handle these kind of things.
Right?
This dude has had a normal lifespan where Captain was around back in, you know, the wars, so he knows all that kind of stuff.
Back in the war, well, he did come from a similar like military background and everything like that. He had the awards in the military. They kind of discussed though, like him and Battlestar do briefly mention. He's like, "Hey, I don't know why you're so hard on yourself. You have 3 medals of honor, blah blah blah." And but John says, "Well, you know what we had to do to get those medals. Like, I have constant reminders now of the worst days of my life." Basically like what he says. So yeah, I can respect that, because I mean, think about it, like soldiers that come back, and even though they're praised and whatever, and they save people, but they seen some shit and they had to do some shit to get out alive themselves. You know what I mean? Like, just because you rescued your buddy or took out an enemy or whatever, like, it still mess you up pretty good. So John, basically he gets his hands on the superhero serum. Baron Zemo manages to destroy all of them except for one, and Johnny takes the one and pockets it so nobody knows he has it, and he's debating, you know, should I take it, should I not take it, should I take it, should I not take it. He's even asking like other people what they would do in that situation. Would you take it? And Battlestar's like, hell yeah, I'll take it. I'd take it, you know. He was honest, you know. Sam at one point was like,
he knows he has it?
No, because John doesn't tell anybody. Yeah, so he's just asking them, like, what would you do? Because they get the shit kicked out of them by the Wakanda honor army. God, I can't remember. I just watched Black Panther earlier today too. It's funny. You know what they're called, right? It starts with a D. The Dala Malaji.
I know what you're trying to say.
I don't know.
It's hard to say it out, but yeah.
Yeah. All right. So he gets his ass kicked by them. John does, and then he's like, "Well, they're not even super soldiers, and I can't even beat them." So he's like really upset with himself. He's questioning himself. And then so he kind of spoilers, but he does take the serum.
So he decides to take it.
Takes the serum. Sam is trying to like peacefully negotiate with Carly Morgenthau and the Flag Smashers, like, hey, look, we understand your point of view. We get like what you're trying to do, one world, one people, combine the borders, that kind of thing. But we don't agree with your violent methods to get there. He's like, let's try to like work this out. We can be on your side. You can use our resources, kind of thing. Like, we can combine minds to try to fix what you're trying to fix with all these displaced people or everyone that's in the shelters. But the way that you're going about it is not correct. Right. And then John just busts in the room and he's like, motherfucker, we gonna take everyone down. So Carly, of course, gets upset and she's like, nope, we're gonna kill Captain America. And so she devises up this plot. She's trying to do it. In the process, she kills Battlestar. So
he dies already.
Oh, he dies. Like, it's dark, dude. Like, she plants a kick on him that is so hard that he goes back into this pillar, and it's like instant, like entire back and spine and neck just fucking broke. And John is like, of course, like, you can see it, the way that they shoot it is perfect. Like, the editing, the music, everything is just so fantastic, of just like the crazy anger boiling. And Carly's like, oh, I fucked up. And so she bounces, and so does another member of the Flag Smashers. They just run. Sam and Bucky are just like sitting there like watching, because they can't believe what they just saw. Because I mean, at some point they're like, yeah, we're fighting, but is anyone really delivering a kill shot at this? No, because you have super soldiers, you have an Avenger there, you have Captain America and Battlestar. Like, they're fighting, sure, to try to stop one another, but nobody is on the level of like, I'm delivering a kill shot here. And then it happens, and everyone's just like, oh wow, like, that just happened. And John Walker is like, nope, because he's fresh with that serum, so he's that rage is just building, and he hunts down. He doesn't get Carly, but he gets the other one, and just takes the shield and destroys him. Doesn't no, he goes for the chest and just over and over and over and over. Oh my gosh, dude, it was insane. And of course, he does it in public, and everyone's crowded around with their phones out, like streaming it or recording it or whatever. And yeah, man, like, that was just, it was so wild. But it was exactly like we said, that he's gonna use that rage in the wrong way, and it was just not gonna be good. So it'll be interesting for sure to see how they progress from that. I don't think they're going to bring Battlestar back. I know in the comics that John's parents were killed, and that's kind of like what sparks a lot of his rage and anger issues. I get maybe they're trying to do a similar thing with that, only for the show it's Battlestar that gets killed. But yeah, no, that was definitely gets you hyped.
So the black guy is the first one. So yeah, that is crazy. That they it's
Justin made it home. What's up, Justin? Yeah, it's like, of course the black guy dies first.
yeah, of course. That's what goes down. But no, it's exactly basically what we were saying, that we knew something like that would happen. But I'm wondering now. So, do you think that it's a little naive of Bucky and Sam to be sitting there like, well, like, not to be prepared for something like that?
No,
I'm just saying, on my point of view, if we're fighting, like, because there's nothing that says they're not here, they're not going to kill us. There's nothing. No, definitely nothing. Not going to do that. So if there's a possibility they can do it, I'm going to think that they're going to be trying to do that. So I'm going to be going in my power. Honestly, I'm going to be trying to take out the biggest and baddest person there first.
Right.
So that way it can make the other ones either lose morale, or at least it make things easier. So I don't know. Again, I'm very excited now to watch the episode even more.
Yeah. Well,
But
so like I think that with certain villains that they fight, obviously they are expecting kill shots to come from them, right? So they are expecting like obviously they're going up against Thanos or whatever. Like, yeah, obviously, like it's not a shock that Thanos is trying to kill people. He's killed everyone in his path or anyone in his way to get what he wants. He's gonna kill you. So that's not really a surprise. I think because they were trying to go about it so diplomatically. Like they were trying to talk. They went in like with no weapons. Sam doesn't have the wings or nothing. You know, that kind of thing. Like they're trying to peacefully negotiate it, and they know that the flag smashers aren't necessarily. I keep saying this, but like they're not necessarily evil,
killer.
but like the way that they're going about things is not the greatest.
Okay.
So you know, for that'd be like us going to or like two countries going to sign a peace treaty, and then all of a sudden he takes out a gun and shoots another country, like right after they signed a peace treaty or something. It'll be like, wait, what just happened there? I feel like that's the that was the ambiance of that scene. Like they just went in to try to do like a peace treaty, and you know, no weapons kind of thing, and then they end up killing one of them. So
But
that
comes down to them underestimating their opponents too.
a little bit. I think so, and that's not even like the big bad that they're building. They're building up the power broker as this, you know, mysterious evil, because even the flag smashers, Carly doesn't seem to show much fear of the power broker, but the other ones, every time, you know, they mention the power broker or like, oh, the power broker's threatening us again, all the rest of them are kind of like, you know, we really don't want to mess with the power broker, but Carly's just like, whatever. I'll deal with the power broker when I deal with the power broker, kind of thing. But
she's not afraid.
It doesn't seem to be, right. And even though we've already witnessed one guy get shot down in the street just to protect the rest of them. Right. So obviously the power broker and the power broker's little group, they ain't messing around. They'll shoot on sight, you know. Right. So they're after the super soldier serum, and now there's none left. So what's going to happen with that kind of a thing? That's why I still think that General Ross has something to do with the power broker in the MCU, because Ross obviously is very interested in the super soldier serum. Since
if you had if you had the serum, would you take it?
Yes.
Okay.
no hesitation.
No question.
I don't care who knows. I'm taking it. I would hope that it doesn't turn me into Abomination, but I would still
be on his Instagram. Yo, I'm about to take the super soldier, so let's get this going.
I'll go live. Yeah, we'll do it right now. We'll do it live. Everyone can watch. No, I would definitely take it for my own personal selfish reasons, but you know, that's me. I'm not saying that I would be a great whatever Captain America. I don't think I would be like how Zemo says that anyone who takes it would be automatically be a supremacist in their own way, right? So I don't know if I would be necessarily evil, but I'm not saying that I'd necessarily be good either.
Yeah, exactly. No.
What about you? You taking it right away?
Hands down.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Who is honestly going to sit here in like a world like today and just be like, nah, I wouldn't take it. Like, and be for real.
Yeah, because it like not only does it increase your physical abilities by you're a peak human. Like you have all that stuff. You're at your peak pretty much no matter what now going forward. Right. And your life is expanded much longer than it would normally be too.
Yes.
So like it's a lot of benefits. Now to be fair now, depending on, you might not get lucky and take a serum that gives you a good ending where you can get some really bad things that happen to you afterwards or later on down the line. You don't know.
Right.
But I will be honest, it's a risk I'm willing to take.
Yeah. Yeah. Because like even with Isaiah, who I'm hoping makes a return in the next 2 episodes, but he was one of 300 that survived the serum.
Dude, one dude blew up.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
his freaking head exploded right in
This
front
is
of
what I'm
me.
saying, is I will risk my own head exploding to take the serum without a second hesitation. Like, all right, well, if I die, at least I don't got to pay bills next month. But let's do this then.
Exactly. Like, well, I ain't gonna be long, so let's go. So
YOLO. I'll put on the Drake song. YOLO.
yeah, let's see what happens. So yeah, I mean, most people would take the serum if they was in that predicament. Most people would. People, like, honestly, probably, I think it would be like as high as 90%, maybe even a little higher than that, would take that serum. And of course, in story, you can write a character to say, no, I'm not going to do it. But in that reality, they're probably going to do it.
Yeah. Like, so Sam was like, no, I wouldn't take it. And Zemo obviously is so anti super soldier that I truly believe that he would never, like, he had the option. Like I said, he kept destroying the serum. He killed the doctor that was making the serum. He's just so anti serum. And he says the only exception is Steve Rogers, is the only one who was good with the serum. But everyone else, like, is not. So he wants to destroy them. I'm assuming he's going to double cross Bucky at some point and try to kill him, just to continue his own personal mission and vendetta against the super soldiers. But yeah, I would say, like, him and Sam, I would think, are the only two that wouldn't want to do it.
And here's the thing: I'm very sure they never once, and maybe in her upcoming movie they will actually go in there. They never once confirmed, at least in the MCU, obviously, that Black Widow has taken the great value version. Right? They never actually
value version. No, they have not. They have not confirmed it. But I think since Black Widow was supposed to be released first, obviously before all of this, I would think that there was probably going to be discussion about the serum in that movie. So I think when we watch that movie,
I mean, that's what she did.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
what she did. So they better make, because to me, if they're going into the past and they don't do that, I already don't like the movie, because to me it's a waste of time.
Maybe that's what it's going to be about. Maybe Taskmaster is trying to get his hands on the serum or something, and that's like kind of what the point of the movie is. But yeah, so because isn't even Red Guardian, doesn't he have like the weak Russian version or something like that too? So I would say that that's kind of the direction, the on Earth direction, at least, of how that's going down. And maybe even, because I think Justin and I were talking about this, that how are they going to make a new Black Panther when Killmonger burned all of the herbs, and then T'Challa took the very last one to become Black Panther, or to bring him back to the land of the living, basically, in the movie. So now are they going to have a super soldier serum in Wakanda? Or are they going to create their own serum? Is that going to be like the next batch to create the Black Panther? Or are they going to retry to recreate the heart-shaped herb? I mean, how are they going to go forward with that?
That's interesting. Do they have maybe some DNA from Steve Rogers? Do they get some DNA from John or something like that? Or one of the people who currently have like a super soldier serum in them? Do they do something where it's like we have some DNA from freaking Black Widow? Is this something that they use to be the catalyst to create a newer version of what they need to do it? I don't know. That's interesting. It could do that.
It's something I didn't even think about it until Justin brought it up, and I was like, "Oh man, that's
honestly, I didn't think about it neither." That's a very good point.
Yeah. So if that's kind of their if that is the direction they're going, then they're gonna get into like the Red Hulk stuff. They're gonna get into the Thunderbolts, and it's gonna lead into Wolverine, obviously, and it's gonna go down that direction. I mean, you would assume that would be that'd be kind of a logical path to go down if that's the stories they're trying to develop, at least like on Earth, because there's always like the on Earth threats, and then there's the interdimensional threats. So if that's what they're doing for the on Earth, like Captain and Winter Soldier and Black Panther, even Spider-Man to an extent could fight a super villain that's amped up on I know that he already has enough going on with all the crap they're saying is going to be in his movie, but I'm just saying moving forward from that, that could be, yeah. Oh, and to throw it in, we're going to have all these other villains too.
Peter's just like, dude, don't bring more crap on me right now. All right? I got too much going on right now. I don't want to hear this crap. Count no damn right now. Damn. All right? They know who I am. No, that's good. It honestly made me think of something else because seriously, I am seriously wanting the X-Men to do something, but I don't think they're gonna do it. But I'm still hoping because I brought this up to you years ago when they first announced the Black Widow movie. This would be the perfect time to bring in Wolverine. Considering when she was young, literally one of her biggest moments in her life growing up was how she met Wolverine on that train when she was about to get pretty much kidnapped or killed or whatever. Wolverine was the one who saved her. And that literally changed so much of her life and made it where Wolverine was like somewhat like a father figure in a way to her. So it's
that
like
would be one of the most wild secrets if Marvel were to pull that off and have Wolverine cameo in Black Widow. That would be insane. Like everyone would freak out so much if that happened because it's just like everyone, you know how everyone's kind of already brushing off the movie. It's been delayed so many times. Everyone was already kind of like, oh, whatever about a Black Widow movie to begin with. But then if it would held something as important as freaking bringing Wolverine into the MCU, that would be so crazy. We'd be like, oh my god, they did it again.
It would change so much of how that movie, no matter what happens, whether the movie's good or bad, if Wolverine was to show up, it would change what, like if the movie come out to be good, it would make the movie 10 times better because Wolverine was in it. Right, even if everything else wasn't as good and the movie right now comes out and be good, it would still be better because Wolverine was in it.
Oh my
because of the shock value that definitely considering they kept their mouth shut the entire time. The shock value of, oh shit, is that Logan? Just showing up in there.
Yeah.
Going ham. And it's
is that still Hugh Jackman?
You're like, wait a minute, I thought he said he wasn't doing this anymore. He's like, nah.
I was playing.
The first thing they do is the camera just goes straight to his face and he's like, I'm back, bitches. And
they're all on a train or whatever, and he's just got his shirt off for no reason. Because if Hugh Jackman's in the movie, his shirt's going to be off at some point. So,
dude, he took his shots, and they were showing him with his shirt off and everything, and it was just like, damn, he's still in wonderful shape. Like he could.
This dude's like 50 years old, and he's like he's still in better shape than like you see a 25-year-old in the gym or whatever. In better shape than that. Like
he's
damn,
better shape than both of us combined. That dude is just right now, bro. Like what the hell, man?
That's right. That's right.
All was bad out here. Him and the Rock. Damn Rock. But no, that would be really cool.
Yes, it would be.
I don't think that's happening, but that would really.
I don't think so either. I do think that it will. The storyline will play into like what we were saying, though. I think it'll be a super soldier serum type storyline. I don't think but with enough other stuff going on that it's not repetitive. So hopefully, because again, it was supposed to come out first, so maybe it's going to be more of a mentioning of it, or like just reminding you, or what it was supposed to remind you before Falcon and Winter Soldier came out. But now that it's coming out afterwards, it might just be a minor piece.
Yeah,
we'll just have to see.
for sure. Yeah. But either way, I feel like to me, just to sum up real quick, it has to be a bigger point that they have to make sure they establish, hey, like she has the serum in her too. Like again, the Russian version of it. Like this was literally their gold. So she was the best one. She was the one it worked on, and she's the one that it boosts a lot of her abilities as well. And this is what also plus her training to really go into deep how she's as skilled as she is.
That's what I was going to say. So, like, they kind of need to explain how she could hold her own with the Avengers. I mean, like, just by herself in a skin-tight suit doesn't mean...
That doesn't cut. No.
It's cool that you could fight, but, like, she fought aliens and stuff. Like, she was holding her own against some of the heavy hitters. She calmed down she was afraid, but she wasn't too afraid to go up to the Hulk. You know what I mean? So,
Right.
and that was back when the Hulk was actually destroying shit.
Right.
He wasn't a pussy.
Yeah.
But yeah, that would be interesting to see how they wrap up the Falcon show. I'm really hoping they bring Isaiah back in the next 2 episodes. I'm really hoping
how many episodes are left?
2 episodes left. Yep.
Okay.
And then, like you said, I hope that they continue talking about that in the Black Widow movie.
I want to say one last thing about Widow real fast.
Go ahead.
It's sad that out of all the Avenger movies, the single Avenger movies, hers was always getting like just the no respect compared to everybody else. Like a lot of people just did not care. And of course, the people who did was like before all the delays was like, oh, it's gonna be interesting. It did not get as much respect as like Iron Man, or Thor, or any of those guys. It just did not get as much respect. And Iron Man was basically coming in there trying to really start things, and it still got a lot more hype. And like, yeah, let's see how this goes. And hers is getting.
Right.
Like
I think that it has potential.
She's at the bottom of the popularity list, and it's like,
for sure. Yeah, she is. I mean, that's just the way it is. She's never been like a super popular character, even like a solo comic series or anything like that. It's lower print and not as ordered. That's why now they're going for crazy amounts, because people didn't want it then. Now they want it because the movie's coming. But I think it has potential to be, because I mean, if you look back and you actually observe her fight scenes in Avengers or wherever she shows up, like she kicks some ass, man. Like her fight scenes are pretty well choreographed, even alongside fighting alongside Cap in Winter Soldier. Like she, it was they did a pretty good job. It doesn't look fake at all. Like it really looks like good choreographed fight scenes. And I think that if they pull it off, it could be like I think we talked about this, where it could be like a higher level, almost like a James Bond spy thriller type thing, where like that would be really interesting, as long as as long as it's a solid villain, as long as they do Taskmaster right. I really hope they don't just like one shot him or kill him off or whatever, and as long as I think if they piece together the the little super soldier serum with it as well, and play it all to Cardi B's wet ass pussy, I think that would be a good movie.
Whoa, I did not see that one coming there.
Just the whole soundtrack. That's what plays for 3 hours straight during the movie.
Okay. All right.
Just fucking with you. But the rest of it, I think that would make a pretty solid movie.
No, because her fight, like you said, her fight scenes can really be like the best fight scenes in probably all of the movies, because of just like, even when you look at stuff like in Naruto with all the crazy powerful moves and all this stuff, a lot of people's favorite fight is Kakashi versus Obito. And that fight basically boils down to them just going hand to hand, just flat out, just duking it out. And it's just like all the crazy thunder and phase through jutsu and all this time space stuff out the window. Let's just go hand to hand. And the emotional part of it was, and the fight scene choreographed of the anime was great. You can get something like that in a law movie too, where it can just look so good. Because again, her fight scenes do look really good. A lot of times better than everybody else's, because they don't have to rely so much on CGI or these special effects.
Exactly.
Old-fashioned fisticuffs, and that stuff can be really cool.
And like, what's it? Another one that was like really popular. Oh, John Wick. John Wick was super popular, and it was just a regular ass dude with a gun, and his combat skills that he had. But I mean, they didn't rely too. I mean, obviously there were explosions and stuff, but as far as there wasn't like a CGI monster or like crazy anything going on. It was just literally just him fighting a bunch of motherfuckers just by himself. And so something like that, it built crazy hype. I would say the only reason that Black Widow is not building crazy hype is because that she's a female. That's really the only. I think that's really the only thing that's holding that movie back from being super hyped and everyone talking about it and super excited for it. In my personal opinion.
What about Captain Marvel? Didn't they get a pretty decent amount of hype?
Yeah, until she ruined it on her press tour and everyone hated her.
Yeah, I mean,
Everyone was kind of hyped for it, and I mean, it was what sucks is that there are so many important elements now that, like, looking into the future with the scrolls and everything like that, that's going to go down, and Monica and they're going to draw from that movie a lot. They already have drawn from the movie a bit, and what sucks is that that movie just flopped because of Brie Larson.
yeah, and well, for me, yeah, she did make up things so much bad, and you're right on that. But for me, I guess because I'm not really the biggest Captain Marvel fan. I like some of her one-liners in movies and comics, but again, I'm not the really biggest fan of the character, so I really care less about the movie. Then you know, Brie Larson didn't make things better, and then the movie itself to me was just not that interesting. So it was like, I don't have no plans on watching the second one, no matter how important it might be. I feel like my knowledge is enough to keep me going through the next stuff. I'll be like, I can figure it out. I just have no interest whatsoever in the next movie.
I think the next one's just gonna take her off the throne and give it to Monica. Is honestly what I think it's gonna do, and maybe not even call Monica like the new Captain Marvel or anything, but definitely call her Spectrum at least.
If that happens, I will watch, but I got a feeling they're just gonna keep it the regular way it is, and I'm just not gonna watch it.
Yeah.
So.
But you know, it's just some interesting points, and hopefully it blows our minds, man. It would be really cool if Black Widow comes out and it's like, wow, that was one of just unexpectedly one of the greatest movies. But we'll have to see. But Chris, we have been on for about an hour and a half, and I have an independent book club stream later this evening, so I am gonna have to end this one and get some food in me before that happens. But please, guys, let's do a little bit of plugs. I know Chris is going to have a video dropping on my channel this week, and I'm excited about that. And I know that Justin at Comic Talks is going to be having a huge auction on Wednesday, so I'm excited about that. And like I said, if you guys are just chilling on YouTube, me and Dave are going to be talking about some independent comic books, mostly The Boys, but a little bit, I think, of Invincible 2 as well. So we're going to be talking about that. And yeah,
tonight,
other
right?
than that, what's that?
That's tonight? That's the one you're
tonight?
talking?
Yeah, later on tonight. Yeah, that'll happen.
Okay.
So, yep. So that'll be fun.
What time is that one?
9 o'clock.
9 o'clock. All right.
Yes. Yep. So that should be fun. And guys, same time next week, we will see you, the ComicXWeeb gang. And thank you guys for tuning in, and we will see you.
Big surprises next week too. Trust me, I got one for y'all. It's gonna be special because y'all all know about Milo Anthony. Yeah, well, I should say Hoodie Anthony, Hoodie Milo. Y'all gonna get Hoodie Santa.
Oh my God, Hoodie Santa.
Wait for it. So a special coming with that too.
All right, guys. Thank you guys for tuning in. As always,
fuck the fantastic.